much, and thanks to the Foundation Center and your partners for allowing me to be part of what I think is a very, very important dialogue that's going to take place today. During my short presentation, there are going to be some pictures shown that I think reflect what I call the cornerstones of why I'm so passionate about the work that I do around fatherhood. And the first cornerstone, as was alluded to earlier, are my two daughters, who are the joy of my life. And the second cornerstone is my father, who, although he's not here anymore, was my hero and continues to be my hero today. Now let's talk about the Cuyahoga County Fatherhood Initiative. The Fatherhood Initiative has 4 basic goals. One is to promote the importance of fathers being involved in their children's lives. And you will constantly hear our ads saying, if you are involved in your child's life, stay involved. If you're not involved in your child's life, get involved. It's that critical. The second thing we try to do is when fathers come to the county for services, we want to make sure that they're treated in a father-friendly manner. Same as a mother would be treated when she's the custodial parent and comes to the county for services. The third thing we do is we fund programs to help fathers meet not only the financial needs of their children, but the emotional needs of their children as well. Because as a parent, you have to have some balance. You know, it can't be all about the money, because that's important, but that's not the only thing. And it can't be all about the emotion, because we all know we're responsible for taking care of our children. And then the fourth thing we do is we have an annual Fatherhood Conference to celebrate healthy father-child relationships, to strategize around the issue of father absence, and to see what we can do as a community to make sure that every child has a dad in his or her life. As a matter of fact, our 9th annual Fatherhood Conference, I can't believe it's been 9 years, is coming up on June 14th at the Wyndham Hotel. In addition to that, we have made a fatherhood film called Fatherhood 101. It's a documentary. It's going to premiere the night before the conference at Tower City Cinemas on June 13th. And you'll be getting some more information on that. So those are the 4 goals. So why do we do what we do? We know that when fathers are involved in their child's life, they're less likely to live in poverty. They're less likely to do poorly in school. They're less likely to commit suicide. They're less likely to go to jail. They're less likely to become premature parents themselves. So all of the research tells us when fathers are involved in their child's life, they live a more positive and productive life. It's a fact. But the statistics also tell us that today, 44% of children in Cuyahoga County are growing up in single-parent households. And the national rate is now 36%. When you look at the city of Cleveland, that rate goes up to like 65%, or 2 out of every 3 children that are growing up in single-parent households. So we know what reality is. What that says is that if you're the non-custodial parent, whether you're living in the house with your child or not, you have to stay involved. You have to stay involved. I think it takes 2 parents to raise a child most effectively. Now, some of the programs that we fund is we have 2 job training and preparation programs, because we know it's important for fathers to have jobs. So we have training programs you go through, 4 weeks of job preparation, replacing the jobs. We have a prevention of premature fatherhood program. We're going out and talking to teens about not becoming a dad until you're ready, both emotionally and financially. Safe dating relationships, what it means to be a man and things of that nature. We have a Bootcamp for New Dads program at 9 hospitals throughout the community where we're taking new dads and saying, how do you handle a child safely? What are the emotional changes that the new mother is going to go through? How do you have to change your lifestyle as a dad? We have a program through University Settlement where we're in schools talking to dads about being involved in the educational lives of their children. You know, I tell dads all the time, you know, don't tell me about the Jordans you bought your child, or don't tell me about the Rockaware that you bought. Tell me what's the name of their homeroom teacher. Tell me what they got on their last science test. Tell me who their best friend is and why. And then I know that you're involved in your child's life. We have a program at the Supervised Visitation Center for dads or moms, if she happens to be the non-custodial parent, where they can come and spend time with their child in a supervised environment if the court has said that that's the way it has to be. We also have an exchange program there, where for some reason or another, the non-custodial parent has some drama every time they go to pick up their child, whether it's the new boyfriend or whether the child's not there, whatever the case might be, then there's a neutral place where they can drop off the child on Friday, and then the custodial parent can pick the child back up on Sunday. We have a program through Meredith Taylor called our Strong Fathers Program. We're out in the community doing a 24/7 dad curriculum. We also have a program called our Justice Affairs CISA collaboration, where we have an Office of Justice Affairs in the Child Support Building. And the reason for that is because child support and custody and visitation are in two different departments. But, and a lot of people don't know this, they have to work together, because in the state of Ohio, if a child is born to unmarried parents, custody automatically goes to the mother. So whether you signed a birth certificate or not, you have to take one additional step to establish your legal custody and visitation. So we wanted to make sure that we keep those two departments working together, and the people that are out there know that. You know, along with that same theme of thinking, we also encourage fathers through this program, definitely establish paternity. Definitely establish paternity, because without establishing paternity, you know, you're not the legal father of that child. If you have a son that has a child and you think you're the grandmother, if he hasn't established paternity, you know, you can tell everybody in the neighborhood, that's my grandchild. But in the eyes of the law, it's not your grandchild. And the other thing about paternity is, you know, the one thing that you don't want to hear as a potential father 3 or 4 years down the road is what? That's not your baby anyway, okay? And that's one way that you can make sure that that doesn't happen. So I tell dads all the time, there's a number of things that you can do, and non-custodial mothers, to mitigate the drama, to keep the drama down. That's 1, establish paternity. 2, establish your legal custody and visitation. 3, pay child support if you're financially able. And you can take a lot of the drama off the table. It doesn't become an issue. Then you call my office, it's almost a slam dunk, you know, that we can make sure that those things happen. So those are some of the 12 programs that we fund. You know, I'd like to highlight to dads that, you know, over the last 9 years, there probably is not an issue out there that we have not had to deal with in terms of a father. Whether it be the mother having died suddenly and now the father is the custodial parent, whether the mother decided one day she can't handle the child and she just brought the child over, you know, whether the custodial parent has all of a sudden moved to Hawaii and not told the dad or the non-custodial parent, and we've had to go to Hawaii and get the child back. There probably aren't any issues out there that we have not had to deal with. So don't be afraid to have dads call our office if they're looking for help. You know, our motto is two things. A, fathers matter, and B, if you have issues, we probably have the answers. So that's kind of a synopsis of the Fatherhood Initiative and what we do and why we do it. We think we've done a pretty good job. You know, we get about 2,000 calls from dads a year. We serve about 5,000 fathers a year through our program. So we're doing pretty good. So I wanted to wrap this up with a couple personal stories in reference to what I mentioned at the beginning of this speech. That's my relationship with my daughters and my dad, talking about my dad a little bit. Here's a story, and some people have heard this story before. My oldest daughter, Jennifer, who now lives in New York and is running a charter school there, was getting married in Atlanta. And we're all at the facility downtown in Atlanta where the wedding is taking place. And Jennifer's upstairs in a room with the bridesmaids and her mom and the wedding coordinator, and we're downstairs with the groomsmen, and I'm with her future father-in-law, and we're getting ready for the wedding. And Jennifer tells the bridesmaids, please leave the room. She tells the wedding coordinator, leave the room. And she tells her mother, leave the room. And then she says, now go get my dad. So the dad and I can spend a few moments together before she made this momentous walk down the aisle. Now, I've been pretty fortunate, you know. I was all high on football, so I got some awards when I was in high school. I got an opportunity to go to school in Switzerland my junior year in college. I've had some pretty good jobs since I've been an adult. I've been pretty blessed. But, you know, all of those accomplishments paled in comparison to the moment that I had with my daughter when she thought so much of me that she wanted to spend that time with me. And I walked in the room, you know, we looked in each other's eyes, we hugged each other, we told each other we loved each other, and then we walked down the aisle. And that's what you get. You know, that's one of the benefits you get out of being a father and being involved in your child's lives. And those are that's one of the rewards. The second thing is my father. This is the guy on the right. That's my father, my 3 uncles, my grandmother, and that's one of my cousins. One of the true blessings of this job is I get an opportunity to talk about my relationship with my dad. As I told you before, my dad was my hero. I always felt protected, I always felt cared for, I always felt loved. All of the things that you could want out of a dad, I was fortunate enough to have. And the older I get, the more I appreciate it, the more I appreciate it. So that is another thing that gives me strength, you know, as I'm out here trying to help other fathers, because I know the value of it. So I'm going to close by saying to Marion Eugene Grimes Sr., thanks again, Dad. Thank you very much for making me the man that I am. And thank you for listening to me.